Shabbat Shalom to every member of this precious community. The Israeli Reform Movement celebrates this Shabbat as Shabbat Tekumah, the Sabbath after Yom HaShoah, but before Israel Independence Day. Tekumah means rebirth. And during Shabbat Tekumah, Megillat Ha'atzmaut, the Israeli Declaration of Independence, is chanted aloud using Torah trope, beautifully blending some of the oldest sounds and some of the newest words heralding our people's return to history. On April 21st, Yom HaShoah, we read a special El Mole. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest to the souls of our people who were slaughtered and gassed and burned to ashes. We pray that our loved ones may find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. But then, on April 28th, we will observe Yom HaZikaron to remember all of those who died in the defense of the State of Israel. Though unable to gather this year at military cemeteries because of the pandemic, special prayers will nevertheless be recited, including Psalm 9, which includes for the leader on the death of the son, and Psalm 144, blessed is the Eternal who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. This season of ceremonies concludes with Yom HaAtzmaut itself, Independence Day, on Wednesday, April 29th. We will reach out to God for special blessings over the Jewish state, reborn in 1948. Shield Israel with your love. Spread over it your tabernacle of peace. And we will sing Hatikva, and we will recite Shehechianu. Now, a secret. The Jewish people is not particularly well known for its unity. Our foundational library, most especially the Talmud, is rich in its wisdom, in its moral and ethical acuity, and in its wide-ranging disputes. But I can guarantee you that on this particular Shabbat, when we read the combined Sedras of Tazria and Metzorah, beginning with Leviticus 12, verse 1 and following, almost every rabbi in the world will link our Torah readings with the coronavirus during their sermons. We did it. Unity at last. Our texts deal with ritual defilement, illness, contagion. This week, I was privileged to hear the provost of the Hebrew College, Rabbi Dr. Andrea Weiss, artfully connect ancient texts and current fears. Childbirth defiles, illness defiles, skin eruptions defile. In the case of skin eruptions, the sufferer is brought before the priest, who serves not as a physician, but rather as one who will assess the affliction to see if it is contagious. If the priest determines that it is contagious, the person is considered to be a threat both to the physical sanctuary and to the people as a whole, and is therefore isolated. If the priest is uncertain, then the person is quarantined for 7 days. And if after the 7 days the affliction is not clear to the priest, then there is a second period of quarantine, total 14 days of quarantine. Then there will be public rituals to reassure the community that the threat has passed. Over the centuries, the rabbis continue to find deep meanings in this, it's rather unsettling text. For example, they would connect Metzorah, a skin disease, with, in their playing around, not Metzorah, but Motzi Shem Ra, speaking words of gossip. The rabbis viewed gossip as a vile dangerous contagion all by itself. But in the 12th century, we see a deepening understanding of what we would call today germ theory. Our Torah text indicates that a person who is deemed positive must live outside of his tent and, this is the point, cover his mustache. The 12th century scholars commented with assurance that the Torah understood that the breath of sick people can contaminate others. Covering the mustache, they assert, means having a covering over one's mouth to protect others. Rabbis, 12th century, that's how they chose to read it. The rabbis by then understood something about airborne contagion. Whenever we human beings encounter invisible forces that are obviously very dangerous to us, we experience profound anxiety. As it says in Ecclesiastes, Ein chadash tachat hashamesh, there's nothing new under the sun. We crave protection, of course. We crave healing, of course, but we need more. We need help in making sense out of our world. We need an assurance of meaning. We need confidence that we are not alone in our fears. We need to know that others also feel that we are all in this situation together. We don't know what's next. So we quivered around our campfires, or we quiver around our computer screens, hoping for the healing and sustaining embrace of community and of truth. In 1974, Hannah Arendt, a brilliant philosopher whose analysis of the Eichmann trial shook the Jewish world as she spoke of the banality of evil, said the following about that plague, which is the plague of lying, that she believes set the stage for National Socialism. Quote, this is astonishing. Quote, 1974. If everybody always lies to you, the consequence is not that you believe the lies, but rather that nobody believes anything anymore. A lying government has constantly to rewrite its own history. And a people that no longer can believe anything cannot make up its own mind. It is deprived not only of its capacity to act, but also of its capacity to think and to judge. Here's the closing line from Hannah Arendt. And with such a people, you can then do what you please. With such a people, you can then do what you please. Disease is part of the human condition. Camus made that point painfully clear in The Plague. He saw that the greatest threat to life itself is life, because all who are born will die. Biological systems will collapse, organs will wear down. Disease is part of living, and aging, though it can be delayed, always wins in the end. Camus. The young usually don't have to think such thoughts. They need shelter and warmth and security and food. Youngsters have skills to learn, relationships to form, and fun to be embraced. Adults have responsibilities and challenges, successes and failures, dreams to dream, and a world to build. The elderly increasingly feel unwelcome changes, view time differently, and pray that their bodies and their minds will not outlast each other. But at every stage, in one way or another, consciously or not, we all crave protection. We all crave healing. We all need help in making sense out of our world. We all need assurance of meaning. We all need confidence that we are not alone in our fears. We don't know what's next. So we yearn for the healing and sustaining embrace of community, of love, and of truth, equally of love and of truth. I think that's why the priests and our cedros were involved in the process of assessing the illness, in setting standards for quarantine, and defining just what healing looks like, and then in rallying the community to demonstrate that the community cares and that the frightened patient is not alone. I have faith in the human mind once our minds are allowed unfettered access to truth. I have faith that there are communities of love all across the globe ready to sustain us in our anxieties and even, God forbid, in our grieving. I have faith that we will find a way to balance human needs and desperate financial concerns. ואף על פי שיתמהמה, אני מאמין, this terror will end, not soon enough, but it will end. That we have every right to believe. Shabbat Shalom. We will see each other next week.